Hi, I'm Mark Edward Sterling Bernard, and this is my digital resume. I have a few speaking points that I'd like to go over, and this is an opportunity for you to get to find out more about me and my resume in a few minutes because most of us have very busy days, and hopefully will encourage you to give me a call for the next opportunity that you have available. I'm a father of 4 children, ages 5 to 14. My family immigrated to North America around 1786, so we've been here in North America for many years. Originally from Normandy, France, came through Holland and to England, and then to Long Island, New York, where we actually had a 500-acre farm before immigrating to Canada to PEI. I have a famous relative, Hewitt Bernard. He was one of the fathers of Confederation, and he was the secretary to John A. Macdonald. That's a little bit of my background. Now, education. I attended university for business communications at U of T, and I also attended advanced programming at Centennial College. Most of my professional training was through IBM. I spent approximately 6 months at a cost of about $40,000 at IBM to become a guru on AS400 or System I servers. I have approximately 11 certifications from IBM. Skill sets include systems engineering, software engineering, and network engineering. And I also have project management training. I was trained formally in 1995, and I've been using project management and following the PMI methodology ever since. I've also attended training to become a college professor, and I taught a third-year systems engineering course on AS400. Credentials. Some of my professional credentials include the CISSP, the CGEIT, the CRISC, CISM, CISA, CNA, and PA. My experience. Total, 24 years. I've been doing this for a while. 13 years in Toronto, and 7 of those years I spent with Zurich Insurance. I had a really good mentor to begin with. He was the vice president of human resources, and I managed the human resource information system for Zurich. Industries, mostly been working in the finance industry, banking and insurance. However, I have also worked in manufacturing, food and clothing, and I've also worked in pharmaceutical and academia. And I'm also a management consultant. And I've been working in the U.S. under a TN visa for several years. Memorable roles in my career, without getting into too much detail, there's quite a few of them. BC Government, Information Security Compliance and Reporting Manager in the Information Security Branch. I've also been BC Government Corporate Accounting Services Director of Technology and Operations. And that was a big job. I had a $5 million budget, 13 unionized employees, and 25 integrated contractors working for me. At Central One Credit Union, I was the Privacy and Security Officer. At EDS Advanced Solutions, I was the Privacy and Security Compliance Officer. At Ma Bell, I worked with Lucent Laboratories on a large project team, and we helped Ma Bell get ISO 27001 certified. I also worked on a centralization project for ERP system for a pharmaceutical company, and that included recertification under quality management 9000 and 9001 standards in compliance with FDA and Health Canada requirements. I've also taught as a professor of applied arts and technology, teaching systems engineering on AS400. I had a class of approximately 60 students for about a year. It was a really interesting job, and I really enjoy teaching. I do teaching whenever I get a chance to, and it's part of my job as well as an information security professional. I also worked with Haynes Herway and Champion. I helped them implement a pick-pack barcode system and also an EDI MH10 label system, which allowed them to send advanced shipment notices to the border for shipping across to the U.S. I also worked with TD Bank on the Y2K project, which was really great. It went so well, in fact, that they extended my contract, and allowed me to take on a project that IBM was having difficulty with. That was to get their business continuity system running. I worked with Sprint Canada on a Y2K project. That was great. I also worked with IBM as an AS400 penetration tester and a red team member. I tested offshore security of financial systems, and I had approximately about 7 different countries that I did that with. I also worked with Zurich Insurance as their HRIS manager, and that was my first job, and that was really rewarding. I learned a lot at Zurich. I've also helped many master students with their dissertations and PhD students with their thesis projects. I continue to help those people today. Special projects and achievements. I did lead the first Canadian bank to become ISO 27001 registered. That's an information security management system. I started out with the online banking system, and it was later extended in subsequent phases to include wholesale and trade services. Probably the most challenging department was the chief economics officer. He was challenging, but basically we built the security management system around the entire company, and everyone was influenced in a positive way and participated actively on the governance board. It was good. Also, I led the first government entity in Canada to become ISO 27000 certified, and that's when I was working as Director of Technology and Operations. I was hired actually out of the Information Security branch to go work as a director because the Auditor General had found some discrepancies with the security around the public accounts. So we did go to the legislature and reported our work to the Public Accounts Commission, and it was recorded. I also led another memorable project was centralizing the enterprise resource planning system from 3 instances. One was located in Jerusalem, another one in New York, and the third one was in Brampton, Ontario. So reconciliation of the data, upgrades of the hardware, and then recertification of the laboratory and the warehousing systems for that pharmaceutical. That was a great job. Led security and privacy for the BC government. And actually, it was for EDS Advanced Solutions. BC government was outsourcing small business and revenue to EDS, and they were considered to be an alternative service delivery. This included unionized employees. I provided oversight for privacy and security compliance to 250 bearing point employees and approximately 235 full-time employees that EDS had. I also worked on a 10-month negotiated request for proposal. A lot of details. There was nothing documented. I had to start from scratch, basically, within the government. And then we, of course, sent out our RFP, met with multiple vendors, rated them, and then finally chose one. Following that, my next major accomplishment, I guess, was to lead cloud computing organization, host provider. They had data centers on 4 continents. And I had to work in multiple time zones, as you can imagine, with multiple cultures and languages, including Indian, Chinese, also New Zealand, and Australia and England. There was a number of different countries. It was a very successful project. It ended in about 12, 13 months. I also led a project to exit and onboard the integrated service provider. This was following the negotiated request for proposal with the government. That included using my knowledge management skills to build a repository of knowledge. There was a lot of gaps. The current vendor that was being exited was there for 10 years and didn't document a lot. So that took a considerable amount of time to build up that resource for the new vendor. Also recognized by the New Brunswick Premier, Bernard Lord, in 2004 for establishing the New Brunswick chapter of the High-Tech Crime Investigation Association, now known as the Atlantic chapter of the High-Tech Crime Investigation Association. And I was recognized for my knowledge contributions to the knowledge industry and to establishing that chapter. If you go to my LinkedIn profile, you'll find out that I have 35 references, all of them very good, and all of them willing to talk to people, employers, who are considering me for a role. I also have over 50 different skills that have been endorsed by hundreds of people for my contributions. Now, more information is available on my LinkedIn profile, as I mentioned, and also on SlideShare. I have over 70 slides, PowerPoint presentations that I've been compiling there and sharing with people, and I have over 41,000 views in about 7 months. So there's a lot of people that are interested, a lot of downloads going on, sharing information on information security governance, risk management, how to manage threats, and how to identify vulnerabilities. There's a number of different things that I'm looking at there that if you're interested in me as a candidate for your job, you might be interested in taking a look at to see how I work that process. There's also a video of me approximately about 10 years ago when I was first talking about cybersecurity. It's now a hot topic again 10 years later, but around 2003, 2004 I was interviewed on Shaw Cable Community Television, and we were talking about cybercrime and cybersecurity. And as well, there's also a podcast available on the information security website, banking website. And that was an interview that I did with them regarding the Central One Credit Union certification. So there's lots of good information, and there's also, I guess, a documented excerpt from the discussion in the interview there. I've got other articles published. Again, some of them are available. You can see them on my SlideShare. You can see them referenced in my LinkedIn. If you have any questions at all, feel free to call me. This ends my my resume, my digital resume to you, and I hope that you find me acceptable and a good candidate for your role that you have. And please give me a call. You can contact me through LinkedIn, through email, or you can Skype me. My Skype address is also there, or you can tweet me and send me a Twitter contact at Mark, M-A-R-K-E-S, Bernard, B-E-R-N-A-R-D, and you will find me. And the name of my incorporation is at TechSecure, one word, T-E-C-H-S-E-C-U-R-E, and you can also email me there as well. I look forward to meeting you and talking to you about your next opportunity and how I might be able to help you. And thank you for listening to me.